Are you a Chief Enlightenment Officer or the CEO in your life? Are you a Lightworker or are you a spiritual entrepreneur? What stage are you in the cycle of evolution? But first, let's start with what are these things anyway? Now, you might like to take our 3-minute test to find out where you are in your current cycle of evolution. And if you're interested in that, go along to www.ceotester.com. So first of all, what is a Chief Enlightenment Officer? Well, some people might call it a light worker. Some people might use the term a spiritual entrepreneur or a conscious entrepreneur. But essentially, it's somebody who is a leader, someone who is grounding their spiritual vision into the physical reality. So they're into taking action, making changes, but they also, paradoxically, understand that the world is completely perfect just as it is. So a Chief Enlightenment Officer is the kind of person who's constantly challenging themselves, and they're evolving consciously through each stage of evolution. They're able to, and they're empowered to support themselves both emotionally and materially. They're the sort of person who doesn't deny what currently is going on for them and in the world. Instead, it's the sort of person who accepts it and works to make changes. So they take action to make changes. And a CEO or a light worker is also the kind of person who currently enjoys material success and rewards. So they don't deny the physical. Now, here's some of the things that a light worker is not, because this term a light worker, it's used a lot, and I think it's often used incorrectly. So a light worker is not someone who sits and meditates and focuses on the light in order to make changes on the world without taking any action. A true light worker isn't someone who just focuses only on the light. A true light worker is about bringing light to the darkness. So they recognize that there is darkness there and they bring light to it rather than just focusing on the light by moving away from the darkness. The other things that a light worker is not someone who spends their energy and time fighting evil. A true Chief Enlightenment Officer focuses on doing good rather than fighting bad. And they're not someone who denies or rejects the physical and the material world. A lot of light workers are about, saying, oh, well, I live in spiritual abundance, and they're living in material poverty. Whereas a true Chief Enlightenment Officer is a spiritual entrepreneur who is grounding their spiritual vision into reality. And that means also experiencing and working towards experiencing material success. So they allow themselves to enjoy the rewards for the value that they bring and that their spiritual vision brings to the world. So if you'd like to find out if you are a light worker or a Chief Enlightenment Officer, or if you're a spiritual entrepreneur, find out where you are in the cycle of evolution. Now, there are 7 stages of evolution, and as we evolve to becoming that light worker, everyone moves through these stages. And typically what happens is the first time you move through this cycle it's a big experience. And after that, you move through it, and it may still be a big experience. But when you move through it on subsequent times, you move and evolve through it consciously. So it's a lot easier and a lot more pain-free. And the way to start moving through it consciously is to identify where you currently are in the cycle and learn what the next stage is and how you can move through that more smoothly. So where are you in the cycle of evolution? Knowing where you are in the cycle means that you can evolve more quickly and more consciously, and you can turn all of the stages into positive experiences. So take our 3-minute test. In fact, it probably doesn't even take 3 minutes. Take our very short test to find out where you are in your current cycle of evolution. Go along to www.ceotester.com, and I'll see you on the other side.